What is up, Coach Emma here, and welcome back to the Fit Habit Life podcast, where we cut through the noise, talk real health and fitness, sustainable fat loss, and habits that actually work. And on today's episode, I'll be talking about another very popular fad diet and why you shouldn't do it. So, it's going to be the trend this month, most likely, because it is January and people tend to opt for whatever they see online, and there's a lot of stuff online that tends to promote these things. Like on social media, the people who are popular tend to be pretty extreme because it seems easier, or wow, their opinion is so different and controversial that it has to be true, right? So there's a lot of stuff out there, and I've fallen for a lot of these, which is why I'm very passionate about talking about them. But anyway, before we dig in, I just wanted to thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed the show, if you've been listening for a while, if you could rate the show or subscribe, that just helps me get in front of more people, which helps me help more people. So thank you. But now let's dig in. So what is the fad diet of the day? It is intermittent fasting. Dun, dun, dun. Yep. So, intermittent fasting, I'm going to define what it is first. Basically, it's just creating a smaller eating window. So, like some people might have an 8-hour eating window. Some people might have a 4-hour eating window, which means they only eat within a 4-hour period. The cool thing about this is it's really easy. There aren't any other rules. It's like, just only eat within a certain time period. Boom, done. There's a lot of problems with this. Hormonally, just in general, for body composition change. Like, if you're only eating in a 4-hour time block, it's going to be really hard to get enough protein in. It can also promote, like, an unhealthy and disordered relationship with food. So, personally, I used to do this. It was only, like, one day a week, for the most part, where I would just not eat until like noon and then would be done by 5 or 6 p.m. But I was also working out a ton, so underfueling there. And the rest of the week, I was trying to eat within an 8-hour time block, and it just made it really hard to do social things. It's like if you have the set eating window, what if someone invites you out to breakfast at 7, but you can't eat till noon? Or what if somebody invites you out to dinner, but you finish eating by 6 and they invited you out for 6:30? Probably going to miss out on a lot of life stuff. But as I was saying before, it also creates like an unhealthy relationship to food, because it's like you can't eat anything for, like, let's say the extreme, like 4-hour eating block. But you can stuff your face in that 4-hour eating window, which can cause digestive discomfort, bloating. People tend to be ravenous by that time, so they tend to make poorer decisions. So they tend to not eat the best options. So like, well, I'm only eating in this 4-hour block, so I can eat whatever I want. It's like, no, not really. But the reason it works for a lot of people is if you only have like 4 to 8 hours to eat during the day, that tends to reduce like late night snacking, which can be really common for a lot of people. And it makes it harder to eat enough. So usually the biggest mechanism is not cell autophagy. It's it's just eating less calories. And hormonally, like for women, not a fan. Intermittent fasting shouldn't be used specifically for fat loss. It could be used for like detaching from worldly desires, like in a more spiritual practice, and I think that's a healthy thing to do on occasion. But like it shouldn't be more frequent than that. Like maybe once a month sort of thing. Because hormonally for women, it's a lot of stress on the body. And what I've noticed with most of the people I coach, they have enough stress on their plate with kids, work, they're business owners, maybe they're executives, maybe they're leaders in other parts of their lives, like maybe church or whatever. And it's like they have a lot of other things going on to where why would you add more stress onto your body? Right? And it's not sustainable. Like I was saying, like most of the people that intermittent fast, it's like you have to do that for the rest of your life. If you enjoy it and you like eating within an 8-hour or 4-hour window, whatever, fine. It might not be optimal for body composition, might not be optimal for your hormonal health, but if you enjoy it, that's fine. If you want to optimize your results, feel awesome, have stable energy levels, perform really well, that's another thing. Fasting is terrible for performance. Terrible. When I was doing it, I had like no energy, right? It's like, oh, I can't eat before my 5:30 a.m. swim practice because it's not in my eating window. Like, hello, that's stupid. Now you know what I do? I still work out probably like 5:36 every day. Wake up at 5, I have a little shot of espresso, and I have carbs. I have some carbs before I go work out, so I can have more energy and fuel to kind of push my training. I did that today. I went swimming, got there around 6. At like 5:30, I had some rice cakes with some bonne maman jam, which is the best jam ever. It's French. Highly recommend if you like jam. I will say for context, not in a fat loss phase, in kind of a performance sort of phase, performance maintenance. But yeah, so fasting, terrible for performance, terrible for relationship to food, terrible for stable energy levels, terrible for hormonal health. As I said, occasionally, it can give your body a break. It can be good for your digestive system to just have a break, not be digesting things. It is great for detaching from worldly desires and pleasures. And other than that, not a fan. The one kind of thing that is fasting-ish that I recommend most of my clients do to help with sleep quality is to just stop eating 2 to 3 hours before bed. That also reduces the late night snacking, which is what fasting does for a lot of people. And it helps improve your sleep quality, which helps improve cravings, hunger levels, satiety, which is like fullness. So that's what I usually recommend for most clients. But really why people see quick results with fasting is because, one, they're just eating less. Usually late night snacking's done. Usually they only get 1 to 2 meals in that time block. But as I said before, really hard to build muscle, really hard to eat enough protein and fiber too. I didn't even touch on fiber. Really hard to eat enough fiber and maintain stable energy levels. So really not a fan. There's a lot of like online influencer type people that promote it. It's become less popular, thankfully. I'm not a fan. Most of my clients that come to me, one of the first things we focus on is eating breakfast because most of them are not eating enough calories or just not eating enough protein in general. So usually we're like, let's add in breakfast, have like 30 grams of protein. And funnily enough, once they start eating breakfast, they tend to have less cravings, more stable energy levels, tend to perform better in their training. And they just tend to make better decisions the rest of the day when it comes to nutrition because they're not starving. So anyway, not a fan of fasting. I think, as I said, there is some value spiritually, like to detach from worldly desires, maybe connect more to God and whatever, but it's not great for fat loss. Because with fat loss specifically, if you just want to lose body fat, if you want to lose weight, you don't care where the weight comes from, that's fine. Here at Fit Habit Coaching, we want to maintain our muscle tissue, our lean muscle tissue. How you do that in a fat loss phase is you strength train 2 to 4 times a week, and you eat enough protein. And as I said, it's really hard to get enough protein in a 4-hour time block. So, not a fan. But if you're like, well, I do late night snack and it's been really hard for me to reduce, what I'd say is start to implement like a hard stop point. Like 3 hours, maybe start with 2 hours before bed. Stop eating. Period. End of story. If you're hungry, start the day with a high protein meal the next day. Right? So, anyway, don't fast for fat loss. It's not sustainable. It creates an unhealthy relationship to food. It hinders performance. It can disrupt hormonal health. When I was fasting all the time, I had a lot of hormonal issues. I've talked about this extensively. Loss of my menstrual cycle. Made it really hard to get my menstrual cycle back when my body was constantly under stress. Because when as a female, when your body is under a lot of stress, your body's like, this is not a safe time to reproduce. We don't need to get pregnant, so we're not going to have a menstrual cycle. That's the best way to kind of describe it. So, anyway. Overall, not a fan. So, if you're fasting now, I'd say just start with, you can either slowly start to shift your time block, your eating window, start to lengthen it, or just start the day with 30 grams of protein. See how that goes. See if you make better decisions. See if you have more energy. See if you feel better. See if your performance improves. And if it does, then you're on the right track. But if you've been intermittent fasting for a while and you're like, well, crap, my weight loss has plateaued, which is another thing that happens really quickly with it. My energy levels are tanked. I don't know what to do. I can help. I've been there. I've helped. I would honestly, I'd say probably like 75% of my clients used to intermittent fast. So I've helped countless people, and not intentionally. They didn't know what they were doing. They just weren't eating breakfast. But point being, I can help. So if that's something you're interested in, you want some guidance, you can book a discovery call below, or even I have a free metabolic quiz that'll just kind of highlight like what areas you should improve upon in it, and you can actually get a full PDF blueprint of what you should be focusing on with recipes to kind of help you fuel your body. So anyway, thank you for listening. If this episode resonated with you, if it helped you, if you got some insight, please share the show, rate the show, subscribe. That just helps me help more people debunk a bunch of the crap out there. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.